I don't know if Peaches or Sheila's coming, so if they're not coming, you can go whatever.
6:30.
In fact,
Not yet. But I better get off here. Okay. Bye-bye.
since you're sort of down and around the corner, I'll give it to you. Give you Peaches and she can share between me and Sheila.
Oh. All right, I'm on the air. That's the sun.
Hot mics, guys, hot mics.
Huh?
Hot
Don't
mics.
say anything embarrassing
You never know what
or illegal.
Hot day.
the illegal part I'm worried about.
You all good? Cool.
All right.
I'm going to call this meeting to order. This is the May Zoning Committee of the Greater Southeast Area Commission. I'm going to do roll call first. Commissioner Barnes.
Present.
Commissioner Blanchard. Not here. Commissioner Bunting.
Here.
Commissioner Calhoun. Not here. Commissioner Murray's not here. Member Foss.
Here.
Member Carmichael.
Here.
And Commissioner Harper is here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means we have quorum. Cool. Let's go ahead and if you're able to stand, do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Awesome. First on the agenda is the approval of minutes from our April 14th meeting. Did anyone have any comments, concerns, questions, corrections? Seeing none, can I get a motion for approval?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Minutes are approved. I am going to flop the applications just because of what they are. I'm expecting the council variance to go pretty quickly just because it's more of a logistical thing for daycare than anything. So we're going to start with CV25-037. That's for 5824 Abraham Drive. The purpose of this council variance is to expand to a type A daycare. I did not receive any comments or anything from Officer Myers or Attorney Yano about any issues. So I will turn this over. I'm assuming you're Yanita. I will turn this over to you, and the floor is yours. You have up to 5 minutes to present just the content of it, and then anything else you want to add.
I'm Anita Jordan. I have my applications. I'm just looking to expand. I've been doing daycare in my home for 20 years. And I've been limited. Like I've been a type B provider and licensed with the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services. So being a type B, you're limited to just what you do. I want to expand to type A. And that requires you to watch like a 14 kids in the home. So, I was told to make copies of my application, so do I get to the...
Yeah, we have copies. Okay. Is this hers, the first one? No, she's second.
Thank you.
I guess some of the type A, the city makes you kind of fill out application A to expand, so that's the whole application. And I guess you have to get it notarized. And then I just put it on here, I guess the fee, and then back to work. This is basically during COVID. I was trying to do this a while back. COVID, I think the mayor, during COVID, yeah, the 12 kids in my home is, I have like a 25 minutes I can do it, but I think what I really want to do is because like, I really wanted to watch more kids and a lot of people reaching out to me or essential workers and I couldn't because I was like sick and I had parents who had kids that they didn't serve their kids. So that's why my kids changed from them to sick. And like licensing would come out and you can inspection if you're over sick, they would write you out of compliance. So I was like, well, I guess I'll just go ahead and try to expand take away the anxiety. So licensing come out, I won't get written out of compliance for it. But here just that they our guidance from the parents are looking for licensing for workforce. But I know where to take the children. Many parents and child care agencies are seeking the need for a safe, loving, nurturing, affordable quality child care in their communities so children can learn, thrive, and grow. Due to the fact that I'm limited to caring for 6 children, so rising cost of inflation, taxes, and cost of living families are struggling to find affordable quality child care. This grant will not only allow me to offer my services to more families, but it will also allow me to offer jobs in my community for those who are seeking this profession. I'm currently a Gold Star program and have been caring and nurturing children for 20 years as a Type B child care program. Becoming a Type A child care program will allow me the opportunity to provide my services to many families and not have to separate the children from different centers because I don't have the capacity. I'm situated in the state of Ohio, County, Franklin County, and in the city of Columbus. And then the other paragraph is
Legalese.
Sorry.
Just legalese.
Yeah. Just legal. Yeah, so basically that's kind of like why I'm kind of going out on separate the families. And then I had teenagers from high school that go to Canal Winchester. I'm in Canal Winchester. They kind of wanted to, I want to kind of offer them a job. The high school to get out of school around school, just so they can get the child care about. It's not an easy task. I do have like one employee, so just looking basic. That's just the bottom.
Well, thank you, Ms. Jordan, for that. Just a couple questions because I know we've asked this we've had a couple folks come through, and they're just curiosity questions, really. Just for the record, your address is on a corner lot, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
I don't know why I was thinking this often. When I saw Crescent, I was like, oh, that's right around the corner. I was like, I'm like, oh. So, but yeah, it's on the corner lot.
Okay. And then about, just approximately what times in the morning and the evening is it like a bulk pickup or do they come staggered?
Yeah, they come staggered. My hours are 30. Okay. But I told for some of my parents now that I'm going to have summer hours like 5. So just only summer hours.
Okay. And then are you a full 7-day provider or just 5 days? Friday. All right. Do any committee members have any questions?
No, but you might want to check with Canal Winchester School. I know Lancaster has the program. They got a class that's called Childhood Development class the kids can take, and they usually put the students in like elementary schools in the kindergarten class and stuff, so they could probably do that too.
For elementary?
Yeah.
I think they had a high school class.
Yeah, for internship, so that's what I'm kind of looking for, like the high schoolers that want to do a child care like. Because I know the Columbus Urban last year they reached out to me, and Columbus Urban was paid for high schoolers to come in because we have to just kind of see how it is to work in child care settings. Columbus Urban, I had a guy reach out to me. I guess because now they're on a bus line, they transportation for. That was all. But I'll look into.
Yeah, I mean, the school pays you a whole quarter an hour. At least it did when I was at school. But you went to the elementary school and you worked in like the kindergarten class for a quarter an hour. They're big
when I break
spenders.
it down, that's about how much I'm paying.
Quarter an hour is dating you.
As high school
I
graduates.
had a couple questions for you.
Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Angela Barnes. I'm the chair of the commission. And I also kind of double as the president of the Canal Winchester School District. Do you plan on providing busing from your daycare to, do you currently have a daycare there?
So transportation, we're at the,
Where, at this address, do you currently keep kids there now? Do you currently provide daycare from that address? I mean, busing to school, or do you have school age kids?
I do have school kids, and I do provide transportation, but I haven't had any like transportation, but I do provide.
So are kids dropped off and picked up at your address before and after school? Is your address used as one of the addresses for drop off and pickup?
Well, if a child needs to be picked up and dropped off, that they would use my address, but right now I'm having to give transportation to the elementary school, but I have had drop off of kids at the elementary school, but I have had a kindergarten up at the school. But the good thing about where I live is the bus, now Winchester bus, it used to come around my corner, but I don't know the now Winchester school, now they just kind of park right here on Lehman. I don't know if y'all aware of the Lehman. So the kids just walk down there. But there was kind of like an issue with that. I call the city, there was like icing, like, not a lot. But anyway, but I was in a perfect location because I have watched the kids in the neighborhood that come to my house and they just got on the bus because the buses used to come down my street and they stay, and I just walk them across the street.
Well, it's not a problem. I just want to make you aware that if you are using your address as a daycare and you want to make sure that kids can be picked up and dropped off from your location because you're responsible and you don't want to leave your house to take them to the bus stop, to ensure that you reach out to transportation at Canal and let them know that so that they can make other arrangements for you, because typically if a parent puts you down as the daycare or the daycare, they will put your address closest to the closest bus stop. They won't stop at your house. So I'm just giving you that updated information.
But they have had, probably doing this for so many years, they used to stop at my house.
Right.
But now, I guess because of the transportation, they stop down by the park now.
But if they don't know you're a daycare, they won't stop at your house. They will treat you like any other resident. Okay, so any other resident would have to go to the bus stop. If that's something that a service that you need, reach out to them and coordinate that with them. And then I had one other question. Do you provide after school daycare for kids leaving, school and to be dropped off at your house? Okay. And then the final thing is reach out to the high school, to the administrative office at the high school, and let them know that you're looking for students that might be interested in working at your facility, as daycare. Because there are opportunities there too. You just have to reach out to them. They're not going to go looking for you, but if you reach out to them. Okay. All right. That's all I had.
Any other questions? No? Comments? Cool. I don't have anything, and I'm perfectly fine with it. So, does anyone want to make a motion for approval?
Make a motion for approval.
Bunting is first. Boss is
Second.
You're late.
Oh, did somebody approve? I'm sorry, I didn't hear the second. Who was the second? Oh, okay. I didn't hear you, Mr. Foss. Thank you.
All right. We will do roll call. Member Foss?
I'm a yes.
All right. Bunting?
Yes.
Carmichael?
Yes.
Barnes?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Peaches, do you want to vote?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Unanimous. All right. So what will happen is we just have to do the formal vote on Tuesday.
Okay. Do I need to be here or? Okay.
Technically, yeah. I'm assuming there's not going to be any updates, so we'll just go through it quickly. Probably just have you do a quick presentation, just because we do have some numbers missing. And then I'll fill that form, and usually within 48 hours, I'll have you CC'd on it with the city. That way you're aware that I've sent it to them, and then they can let you know the rest of the process. All right? Cool. All right, so our next application is going to be Z24-078, and that is in regards to 3639 Gender Road. We did have the council variance come through a couple months ago so that we could help them somewhat attempt to secure their funding, which they are in the process of doing. And then this is the official zoning application that they're requesting to rezone from commercial to apartment residential for multi-unit senior housing. The applicant is EREG Housing Preservation, and then Mr. Boggs is their agent. So everyone should have a packet of the presentation of what they're going to present, and then I've also got it on here. Put it up there, and then so the floor is all yours.
All right. Well, thank you, and we're happy to be back in front of the zoning committee and area commission today. I'm Thad Boggs and Ross Brown Todd, and the applicant here, but I'm joined by Jared Eisenthal, who is with EREG Evergreen Real Estate Group, representing the applicant, as well as Mike Jerbeck from WJW. The use is the same as what we discussed in January when we were here previously. 120-unit senior affordable multi-unit senior assisted living facility that includes Medicaid payment options for residents. It is just south of Ridge Drive and fronts onto. And I will turn it over now to Jared Eisenthal, who can speak further with you about the application, and we are happy to also entertain questions.
Yeah, thanks, Thad. Hi, everyone. Jared Eisenthal with Evergreen, Vice President of Development. Back here today, we'll keep it brief and allow for questions at the end, but back here today to seek a recommendation for rezone as we continue to move forward with the project. We believe that this project is a strong fit for the site, and it will be an asset to the community to serve seniors who need help with activities of daily living. And you know, we speak a lot about Ohio seniors. It's the largest growing population in the state, many of whom need appropriate care settings. And by 2030, 1 in 4 Ohioans will be able to survive. So this project not only helps fit that need, but serves the community that we're in. Question?
No, I'll be 65 in 5 years.
So the next few slides, the next one is really about our team. Again, Evergreen Real Estate Group, we're a developer of multifamily and senior housing based in Chicago, but with wide reach throughout the Midwest. We have 9 properties, over 1,000 units in Ohio today. Joined by a strong development group, our architect Mike Jerbeck, civil engineer based out of Ohio, and a Smith Group, and then the Douglas Company, which is a general contractor based in Toledo. The next slide. This is what we're aiming to do: 4 stories of assisted living, bringing 120 units with each through a bathroom and kitchenette. It'll be a mixture of 1-bedroom and studio apartments, offering a wide range of common area spaces, interview spaces, salon, main dining room, fitness area, community room, wellness suites, library and community rooms as well. The building itself will be 95,000 square feet. We'll have 75 parking spaces on site. And really important for us is to have a thoughtfully designed property with high-level exterior materials as well as interior design. The next slide there, I think we'll focus on it. I know our team was here in the first quarter of the year, and there was a conversation about the site itself. So since then, we've done some more research on the site. The trees to the west side guarding our property are all on our property side. 100% of those trees are. We're in the process of doing additional tree studies now, but we fully intend to maintain that tree line as a screening and barrier to those neighbors to the west, as well as the trees to the south. Many of those kind of are right on the property line, but our intent there is to keep all of those trees that are healthy and alive as well. And we're committed to do additional landscaping throughout the property where necessary and where we think it'll help with marketability, but also screen from the neighborhood. That includes trees to the north and then on Gender Road to the side. As far as where we're at in the process, really appreciate your support in the first quarter. Allowed us to submit our financing application to the state. Just yesterday, got a letter of support from OPA from an underwriting perspective and project perspective. They're still reviewing the architecture and cost portions of the project, but we're really pleased to have the kind of initial support from them and no concern on their part. Separately, we have a signed up investor and lender, both are committed to the project. And as we continue with the OPA approvals, we expect and are hopeful with continued support from Columbus to have a early quarter 4 construction start for this project. The remaining slides are repeats from past with renderings and site plans and other discussion points. But for the sake of time, any questions?
I was at a building today in Columbus, and I saw some ideas that I wondered had they been considered here, because we're trying to move from less cars to more of a community where you can walk places that you want to get to, or that you have those sorts of spaces available to you on site. Is there any thought of using any of your space to be a commercial space where a small business like a restaurant might want to lease out some space in your building to provide a restaurant type of thing, or if any of the spaces in the building will be shared, such as a community room or an exercise room, so that not just your residents are benefiting, but that other residents close around would have the opportunity to walk there and utilize some of that rather than have to get in a car and drive to the YMCA.
Yeah, really appreciate that thought. We haven't considered that because of the financing constraints with Ohio housing. It's really hard to have a separate use of the building. You see market rate properties that have the first floor being a commercial space, whether it's Jimmy John's or fast casual restaurant, and then above are the apartments. We are not easily allowed to do that through Ohio Housing Finance Agency. However, we do really like to think of ourselves as the center of a community. So first, yes, the community room is open if needed from public forums or even folks that need a space. Large dining room as well as a private dining room there. And then we often partner with local businesses to have them come in for meals or for showcases. We have a bus on site so that we limit parking and we limit traffic. And these seniors don't often drive, so
Right.
it's less about the residents driving, more about traffic. Thanks for the feedback, though. And I do think that these properties bolster additional business in the community, and I like the thought of that.
Yeah, I was at, I don't know if you know about it, but or if you're familiar with it, but it's called the FRC building. It's rec center down in East Columbus, and there's an apartment building right next to it. It's a 3-story apartment building. It's all apartments, but on the very corner of it, and on one other corner, there were 2 commercial. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. We should think about that when we, look at people coming to our community, make it more involved in the community.
It's actually a thing to strive for, challenge, and with this particular finance, they have some, why I don't know, but segregated use rules that thing, but great idea though. You have to separate the money. You have to divide it.
Well, I would have concern with that if you guys would do something like that, because when you speak of seniors and ADLs and different things like that, of course the senior community provides housing to senior citizens who are, probably like my mom, who is turning 60 this Saturday. But there are also seniors who have some dementia, have some wandering issues and different things like that. And in a busy area like refugees, having a resident to go out, I'm concerned about the traffic area that's over there for the senior living community. But have you guys done a study or talked to the residents in Canal to see what it is that the demographic and the statistics are on residents that might stay and family needs for their residents that might stay?
We do have a strong market study to show support for this use. And this use is very specifically activities of daily living support, low acuity. We do not take memory care residents here. And if you're in need of institutional care, fall into rehab, we don't take that as well. We often partner with skilled nursing facilities and help them because at the end of the day, they're living with us and they fall, they need to go somewhere else and then come back.
Right.
With a lower care setting,
It does. I worked in the medical field 50 years after high school. I've been counting up that. But I think about things like, okay, well, making sure that you guys do a good research study because just because they don't have dementia doesn't mean a UTI might not cause confusion, and we've got a senior citizen that's out there. So just making sure that when we consider something like this for the community, that we're actually talking to the seniors that are living here that are thinking about selling their homes, and this might be an option, or residents of Canal who are considering these, maybe we've got different senior living communities, right, team, here already on the east side. So maybe seeing something that's different, that's lacking, that maybe they can provide. You mentioned Toledo. Toledo has the Genesis Center, which is pretty darn close to your product as far as having the senior citizens there. So when I sit with the zoning, I just want to consider the community and the community needs so that it's most impactful.
Got about 10 questions. Yeah, I promise. As far as they're going to go completely out of order, but I'm just going to start talking about them. As far as construction, what does the overall timeline look? If you're looking for an early Q4 start, what are you looking at as an early finish?
About 18 months.
18 months?
That's not an early finish, sorry. Early finish would be great at the beginning of 2027, January of 2027.
Okay.
18 months is typical, 15 months.
Okay. I am appreciative that you are going to keep the boundary as far as landscaping with those taller, older trees. As far as overall long-term landscaping and property upkeep, what does that look like for your type of properties?
Significant ongoing maintenance to not only preserve the barriers, but to beautify property. So residents, oftentimes we have an external landscaping company that we contract, and we incorporate resident, opinions on it and help on it. There's gardening in the back, but heavy landscaping.
Okay.
And just to verify, and we hit it on one of the following slides, but the existing conditions, the trees on the side, I misspoke somewhat on the Newberry on the west side of the property that I thought that straddling the lines.
Right.
Property, in fact, they're all, we get the tree survey, they're all on our property, so they're our responsibility. Separate out ones that are.
Can you expand upon that garden that you were talking about?
Yeah, so towards the back patio area, we have elevated garden beds where we can do herbs. It's a way to keep the community and the residents active. And then we'll oftentimes, initially go out and purchase flowers and whatnot. That once a year you can pick a couple and bring them in. We don't have enough for 120 people, but in the community.
I was going to say you could involve the community who are interested in partnering with the senior facility, because I know there are a lot of libraries that might be interested in donating and helping to keep
You know, I think that what's really important from a landscape standpoint, ultimately to provide the opportunities, like any community, it evolves over time, and people they find they have a lot of really active gardeners. Well, then gardening, I mean, it depends on the population. So you don't need much organically.
Not to belabor gardens, but I'm employed at OSU, and our extensions office has master gardening programs, in which they have community volunteers who will normally provide education or potentially maintain gardens with community members. So that might be something to look into. That's part of like your recreational programming. Or they may also offer additional things when it comes to the senior population. But to fulfill our land grant mission, that's what we do with our extension offices and stuff. As far as overall plans, because this is going to be primarily a senior facility in which people do not drive, or residents do not drive, is there any potential possibility to reduce some of the number of parking spots to increase green space? I know there's quite a bit just with the property.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and so in the city planning staff as well as not hung up at all on parking, we actually have some kind of extreme parking requirements, but it's quite negotiable.
Okay.
I think from our standpoint, I'm always in favor of less paving than more. We found that the parking ratio that's currently established, there's 73 parking spaces, which works out to about 0.6 parking spaces per unit. That doesn't really mean a whole lot. It's more about like the absolute, according to your studies, the peak parking demand is about 85th percentile peak parking demand. In this case, 65 vehicles. We're providing 73 spaces, and we could bring that down a little more. We found that the sort of ratio we're providing for the buildings that we built has really operated well. Like, there are, like Mother's Day is a day that you're never gonna, you're gonna be parked to the max, but it's like otherwise, it depends how close you want to cut it, I guess. Maximum. Usually, like when shifts are actually brief maximums, it's like when shifts are changing. You have a lot of visitors.
What's the age group
of residents? The average age is like 84. Average.
How did you come up with that age?
That's the average age of assisted living.
Okay, so this is assisted living, not people 50 and over, not independent, but assisted.
Mm-hmm. It's 60. It's technically 60.
It's people who need help with like their medicines and little bit of mobility issues.
Like story point.
Well, my brother gets assisted living, but he is completely functional and gets everywhere he needs to go, and he drives. So I know when you say the number of people who may or may not drive, just because you're getting assisted living doesn't mean that you don't drive. So I just kind of wondered what the age.
And then that ends up being the very high reason, possibly number one reason why people drive anymore. I have my father-in-law.
And actually, you need that many parking spaces. I know my aunt just passed away in January, and the one she was at, you was lucky to find a parking space when you needed to go there. Between the employees and visitors and everything, it was almost impossible to find a parking space.
Are these all one bedrooms or two bedrooms too?
They're studios.
They're all studios and one bedroom. Studios and one bedroom.
Yeah, I mean, very few would end up being a lot. It's a lot.
They're married, right?
Now, are you guys gonna be in charge of the hiring for the building too, or?
Well, we work with Garden Management Solutions to be the property manager. They're the leading affordable assisted living manager in the Midwest. They have most units in Illinois, second most in Indiana, and properties at least in Ohio.
I know if you get a good people in there working with the residents, you'll have a good turnout. Matter of fact, we need more than just this one being built, because there's a waiting list everywhere. There's a waiting list in Lancaster. I mean, there are people down there looking up here because there's such a waiting list.
I'm not too hung up on the parking. I was just curious if it's possible.
Right.
They'll all have handicap stickers on, so we won't be able to park.
I more want to find out about what the response time would be for if there was an emergency 911 getting
Right
in.
down the street, next door to the fire station.
Oh, yeah, that's
Well,
right.
I'm not talking about the fire station. I'm talking about all the ambulances.
It's an ambulance at the fire station. Right next door.
Yeah, but where is the hospital?
It would probably
Mount
be
Carmel.
They're gonna go to Diley Ridge.
Now they're gonna go to Mount Carmel.
Mount Carmel.
probably go there, depending on the instance. Or they'll go over to Pickerington in their ER or down right down the road.
I've got another thing for you on the elevators. I think in assisted living there ought to be a safety device, because my aunt got caught in the elevator in hers and it caused her to fall and she broke her pelvis. Yeah, so
Some accidents just can't be avoided.
yeah, then some can't be helped, but I think, if they have more of a delay on the opening and closing for a
That's what I
safety.
deal with the people that running the building. Hell, my grandfather had Alzheimer's, and the lady that was working there hit him with a lunch cart and he died. So
Well, she was 101 and still walking.
I'm gonna keep going through here. We got 5 more. As far as the sign, do you anticipate having to have any graphics variances or anything for that sign, or do you have renditions that you can send emails? Yeah.
Monument sign on gender, we're happy to send renditions.
I know this is odd, but it's the only spot that I noticed was marked with the fence, and I was curious as why there's only fencing marked in the front, unless it's going around the property.
It is a requirement. Homeless has a parking lot. Well, first of all, there's heavy screening along the street side. We didn't, fence further around the property.
Okay.
Usually,
So that's what I was getting at on why is this the only place that you're putting just a random slot of fence in the front and it doesn't connect to anything. And it's assuming not decorative like some fencing you'll find in New Albany, but
yeah, it's not force fencing.
Right.
But yeah, it's more of a parking lot buffer.
were the
Screen.
trees not good enough for the city?
They want, they just want ornamental fencing. Parking lots that are running a street and have an odd addition they have there.
Right. I feel like this is going to be my high horse or die moment about fence. I'll tell the city, but I think it's personally stupid. This is where you have to put fence, and there's already a tree buffer, and it's already, I don't know how many feet back, which is pointless, and all it's going into is a parking lot with more trees. So I don't know why that's not a good enough buffer.
Keep that deer from coming across.
residents cannot get.
What, is the deer going to stumble out of Kroger's with a liquor bottle or something? I don't know.
A rabbit.
Who knows? Where's the next page?
Recommendation. Ask the city.
Hold on. Tell the city. Next, kind of just fire questions. As far as community partnerships and interaction, do your other properties form any of those with any local organizations that may come in and do programming, or say you might partner with the daycare to do, intergenerational interactions, things like that?
Yeah, without a doubt. First, we go through the Area Agency on Aging, which is a group that helps manage seniors, and oftentimes we're opening up or about to open up, let them know we're coming online, and very active in that relationship.
Okay. As far as jobs, I know it mentioned that you're anticipating 50 full-time jobs. Do you know what the average amount of full-time jobs are with
For sure.
your properties?
Well, per shift, it's like I think it's 30 overall. It's like 35 full time or something like that. And the biggest shift is like 25 people. So do the 8-time shift, around 25. Includes food staff.
And I know this is a big thing once you get into independent and assisted living. What does your family visitation policy look like, especially when it comes to like overnight stays?
Can you get back on that? Not sure. I don't think we limit the visitations, but I don't know our official policy on staying overnight.
Okay. Thank you on that one. And then the last one. Approximately, what do you anticipate when it comes to property taxes you'll produce once fully developed?
Yeah, well, first, the income tax, we roughly expect about $2 million in wages for a year. If Columbus is similar, Columbus is at 2.5%. That's $50,000 of income tax. As far as property tax, based on assessed value, based on millage, based on whatnot, could be in the ballpark of $100,000.
Is this facility going to be private pay, or is it going to be like some sort of insurance payment?
Primarily Medicaid for the services. We do accept private pay, have the assets, but the biggest value here, and it's a really important thing that Ohio has changed. You come in and have the money, but you run out of money to exhaust those assets. You apply for Medicaid to cover the services portion of the care. And typically, residents that live here are under 60% of the area median income. At that point in time, supplemental security income, which is a portion of Social Security, covers the room and board. So really important thing for seniors that run out of money, as opposed to a private pay assisted living where they say, if you got to find a way to pay, we do not do that. A lot of our residents are on that.
So if there's concern about, the SSI and Medicaid being a balloon right now, should something happen with that, will the facility protect those individuals who are staying already at that facility if something should happen where Medicaid is no more, or SSI? I know that sounds silly, but it's a good question that I get from seniors where I represent my area is for security.
Yeah, we're on the forefront of making sure that doesn't happen. State and federal lobbyists are part of coalitions that are attempting and making sure that pilot program will go away. If it does happen, we will work with our financing partners.
That's good, because I came across a medical program that did say that if something should happen, they are already prepared. They're budgeting out funds to make sure that those seniors don't get displaced. So that's good to know.
I'm all good on questions. Do anyone else have any more questions?
But you had like 3 more.
No, I actually went through all my pages. It's done left. For now.
I didn't bring a magnifying glass. I was just trying to find the elevators on this plan.
Yeah, they're in the. Yeah.
They just have stairs.
We
want to keep them in shape.
So in the
They
two
will.
corners,
Keep them on their floor.
interior corners of the building, there are rectangles that are hard to can point to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Show you. They're there. One big capsize. It's a ambulatory
Yeah.
gurney.
Yeah.
They're right here.
With two people standing.
Okay.
On the
So
angles.
one is the 4,500 pound, which can fit two people, and a gurney in between them. Just like what you would see in a hospital, and then the other elevators are smaller, 3,500, also gurney size, and they are positioned so that people are at the end of a hall or an upper floor. They can get to an elevator, stopping for a while, and then they get out and then traverse the remainder of the distance. A lot of areas of intentional movement.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Cool. Any other questions?
Last question. I want to know about some concerns I have, not from you guys, but making sure that the employees on every level have continuing education to ensure that they're getting the highest quality of care and continuum that they possibly can get. And what are you doing to make sure that this facility program is going to be compliant? Because then, you hate to go in a certain part of town and you'll go into a senior community and next thing you know, it's not aesthetically well, the lighting is not well inside, it might have smells, you don't think that people are being trained. So what are you guys doing from a cutting edge point to make sure that the staff are qualified, not only qualified, but are continuing on in their education and keeping up on that from the state standpoint, and also following sort of a flagship, if you will, type of protocol to make sure that they're keeping the facility up to par?
Sure. Well, the staffing is really important at these properties. One of the reasons I want to start is their employees are top notch. At the state level, in order to get the residential care facility license, go through a rigorous review process of your properties. They go out to the sites. They make sure that not just all written down, but that your staff on the properties are top notch. And then secondly, we take continuing education really seriously and sometimes make it fun. I think employees at least one of the properties we have in Indiana have made it a challenge to move up as far as a job at the property. And we've seen a lot of that inter-property promotion. So that kind of friendly competition has really helped. But thank you, and it's really important for us too to make sure we're doing that.
I appreciate hearing that.
Last question. Awesome. I don't have anything else. No one has anything else. I'm all for it. So
I make a motion to approve.
Second. Oh, never mind. I'm not second. You can second.
fine. Okay. I have a motion to recommend for approval from Bunting, a second by Carmichael. We'll call roll. Member Fox.
I'm a yes.
Commissioner Bunting.
Yes.
Member Carmichael.
Yes.
Commissioner Barnes.
Abstain.
Okay. Commissioner Calhoun.
Yes.
And I am a yes. So this will get moved to Tuesday where we'll do our official vote. We do have two other commissioners, so I'm assuming they'll have some questions. I'm going to go through and then within 48 hours I'll have that form all filled out. Everyone CC'd to the city, and then you are on to your next steps.
Thank you so much for your support.
You are welcome. Thank you so much for choosing us as a home for senior housing. And we desperately do not have any, given our proximity to the suburbs. So I very much appreciate it.
Do you guys get grant funds for this? Or any other like federal funds, state funds? Oh, what's OFA?
Ohio Housing Finance.
Okay.
They allow us to be active on a complicated financing structure, goes through a lot of approvals, but we try to keep that piece as simple as possible because of the complication. Each one of those comes with another string attached, right? So, We agree. Real
Well, it's
estate.
jobs to our area, so even if it's in construction or permanent jobs, it's still jobs to our area, and we like to see that, and we're grateful that you guys have chosen us to be in our areas.
I would like Evergreen to come and say hello and talk about their program as well. We can let seniors in our
Invite us when
community
you open.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Definitely.
Certainly at the groundbreaking, we'll put some PR out there, but then at the grand opening, that's the most fun that I feel like I have because it's a culmination of a team effort when everyone involved. Everyone finally gets to look, see, and feel it all. And next thing you know, there'll be 120 people there.
Don't trust us. Our social media will love it. Cool. All right. That is all for the applications. As of right now, the Groves Road application is still tabled. I haven't received an update on the stormwater plans. So we'll go into my report. As far as Lindora Drive, that property, there's not much of an update outside of Parks and Rec is communicating with the property owner right now. They're going back and forth bartering with whatever that looks like for Parks and Rec to buy that property from the owner so that it can stay either commercial or recreational like we want.
And if any of you get a hold of Bradley before I do,
Keep it civil. It's a hot
Keep it-
mic.
You're on a hot mic.
that's okay. I need to get a hold of him about this football.
Oh, yes.
What'd you say?
She's got the football, the owners, the youth league
Oh yeah.
are, my understanding, they're willing to sign it over, right?
Angela all she has to do is a quick claim deed. She did away with the Walnut Heights Youth Association, so it no longer exists. So, and she's still listed as on the other side as it. So all she has to do is a quick claim deed over to the Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec
And she
will
wants
honor
it off of her because the grass there is about 3.5 foot tall now.
Who owns it?
Right now, nobody.
it.
Shucky ducky.
Yeah, that's why we've been trying to get a hold of Brad, because besides that, we've got more parkland that we need Brad to take. And Brad won't return a call.
In the Eastland plan, and I think you were there, Angela, they were talking about that part.
It is part of the Eastland plan as a gathering space, which they want to find a developer to develop it into a space where people can come and sit and have benches and have maybe a couple coffee shops or something like that right there. And yeah, it's that's what the plan is. So it's not apartments.
But I've made 3 phone calls down there, left voice messages. I've sent 3 emails to him.
Y'all interested?
Yeah, so that's it. As far as I'm aware, they're anticipating, this is word of mouth, it's not confirmed, that the application will go to City Council sometime in June. As far as I'm aware, we're supposed to be contacted again after City Council talks to the developer because we unanimously just approved it, which is supposed to be the process. New to me, but we're gonna make it through. Next 2 are just a couple updates. For some reason, I randomly started getting all these updates now from something I signed up from 8 months ago. I don't know why, but I will take it. The old BK property on South Hamilton Road, right across from Eastland Mall. It has a new owner. They are in the process of remodeling that building and making it 2 different stores.
2 different commercial
Uses.
spaces that will not, they will just be shells, and it will be whoever moves into them's responsibility to
Correct.
develop.
So the goal is one of them is to be some type of drive-through restaurant, which I'm assuming is going to be a Starbucks or something, the way that the building plans show up. And the other, they're looking for office-style tenants. The other property is 6099 Winchester Pike. I am assuming this is coming to us because of the moratoriums around us with the suburbs. The car wash is in the process. I don't know if it's already changed hands, but final site plans have been submitted to convert the car wash into a medical and recreational cannabis dispensary.
What? No more power washing?
Yeah, for real.
No more doggy wash?
Well, that guy's been wanting to get rid of that property for years. So I think he's just been waiting for that warehouse to be built. Now that the contingency's been hit, all the outer parcels can be developed now. So that is in the process of becoming that. I'm going to reach out to them because technically they don't have to come through us unless they're going to have any type of variance because it is a commercial property becoming a commercial property. Just so they can come out and, have a good neighbor relationship. But
Nothing around the dispensary that requires them to come to zoning?
Because they're just converting the building from one commercial use to another, so it's fine. On the bright side, they're in Columbus, so all the taxes stay in Columbus. That's how the state law works. For now, so they once again overpower the will of the people who voted for it. But I digress. Yes, ma'am.
Where are they built on big town bases that are our areas?
Oh, right there on the highway. Apartments. That's going to be multifamily, and then there's two major developments behind it. But they're still doing infrastructure. So you're looking at about over 2,000 units of housing between that area. Yep. Big CC coming right in, right out. You won't be able to cross 33 anymore. 2026, we're going to start doing that. I think the long-term goal is to make Bixby an overpass of some sort.
There's a ramp. If you look at the ODOT plan, I believe they're putting an on-off ramp with an overpass.
On which side of 33?
When they widen 33.
So you'll no longer be able to cross.
Yeah, it's 5 to 7 years, but they will be widening 33 with a wall down the middle, and it'll be on-off ramp.
This is becoming housing too.
That whole thing.
Basically.
Yes. Multi-family.
Mix. I don't include.
If y'all haven't seen it, there's a huge book about Pacific for the Eastland Plan with lots of potential development.
Is that in our? Is that GSEAC or is it?
That's us. It's all annexed. Outside of that, the only thing else I have to add for the report is I did object to a demo permit because I tried to contact the property owner for 2 months and did not get a single response. And so, to be honest, out of spite, I just sent an objection because if you're not going to sit here and respond to me, then go somewhere else.
What's the demo permit for?
It's for the Wendy's refugee and
Hamilton.
Yes.
What about the demo at refugee and gender? That is, they're building something. What are they building there? The Tim Hortons that was torn down. What is being built there?
I don't know 100%, but I think when I got bored and did my Wikipedia through the Citizens Portal, it's slated to be kind of like a Valvoline quick stop.
Because I thought they said they were putting a Chick-fil-A when they were in here talking to us.
What happened to the
No, that's on Hamilton.
That's on down.
Hamilton 33.
No, they came here and talked about that demo and said that they were going to be putting, that guy was sitting right there, and he said they were putting a Chick-fil-A there. That's why I got excited about it.
That ain't big enough for Chick-fil-A.
I knew there was one on Hamilton, but I was happy that they were putting one.
I don't want to put them that close. No, I don't know if it's a Valvoline. That's
some kind of oil place.
Yes.
Another.
Speaking of the refugee and Hamilton, they are doing site compliance for the old Kmart. They're trying to turn it. Even zoning doesn't know what they're doing right now, but I think they're trying to turn it into automotive part and tire storage. So if that's what they're trying to do it as,
what's Mid-Ohio saying about that?
I don't know what Mid-Ohio is saying about it because it's not going through the variance or zoning application process. It's just going through zoning as for site compliance, really.
Len, didn't Mid-Ohio mention that the other day at a meeting saying something about they wanted that space
recall, I would assume that they would know what was going on.
It was at the advisory committee. They mentioned it because there's a barber shop between them and that old Kmart. Like it's the Kroger, then a barber shop, and then the old Kmart. And they said they had the whole building. They were looking at the rest of it. They may be looking at the rest of it.
Well,
There's the old Kroger's, there's a Dollar Tree, then the barber shop, then the old Kmart building.
And, and Mid Ohio goes down to the barber shop.
I think so.
All I can suggest is put your information in question form, and I will just get it directly to the people who are doing the Eastland plan, and also I will get it directly in terms of I'd like to suggest in terms of the Mayberry Park that maybe someone come in and talk about that directly. And if you want to put that in question form, I can get it to whomever, and so you get your
Sheila already contacted the director of Parks and Rec to get on the case because it's been 2.5 months with no response. Really.
Yeah, I just know that there's plans for that area, and that maybe you may want to directly what Angela heard at the last.
Outside of that, we will have a June meeting. I just got an application today. A BZA application for housing that's going to go on Shannon between the monastery and the church, right across from the D.R. Horton development. So that will come in June. However, we need to figure out a date in June because I have a class conflict, and then I have a class conflict and subsequently a travel conflict that arose too.
Okay.
Yes, it's the way the flights worked out. I was slated to fly out Thursday, and then they all changed, so I had to fly out Wednesday evening.
So you're talking about a Thursday?
That Monday. So that's why we're here to do it now.
So we're talking Monday, but what?
June 16th.
I won't be here.
As long as I have quorum, I'm fine. Huh? Once we set a meeting. Yep.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Stop hurting yourself too.
Can you give me my card?
Yeah.
Yeah, take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Yes. Once we figure a date out, we can adjourn.
Okay, what's that date?
Well, I'm hoping it's Monday, June 16th.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I don't have to be here, but
Well, I need 5 people to be here.
okay.
I won't. I definitely won't.
May, June,
Okay.
I can give it.
June 16th. I can be there. It's I was just making sure it wasn't my board meeting.
Meeting day?
Yeah, we meet on the
The
second Monday.
16th, I should be in Mississippi.
We do have a CDC steering committee meeting.
Time.
Nothing.
Oh, vacation.
What? At the same
Leaving
time?
98.
Well, that's because we don't normally meet on Mondays.
No one told me that was the date.
I sent it to you. It's
I
on
never got it.
Been in one night in
right here.
Gatlinburg.
Yeah.
Then headed
Mark
on
Harper,
down to Lake Lakes,
1995,
Florida,
yeah.
and then spend a night there, and then on down to Clearwater.
No, I literally never got that.
Then I'm coming back up the Gulf of America
It's not in my email.
through Alabama into Mississippi, and stopping a day or two in Laurel, Mississippi.
You tried it all?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Push it up or push it back?
Iron track.
Can we do it earlier today?
I don't mind driving.
Yeah, we could. I mean, it's just us.
Okay. We're going to say we're all pretty much flexible.
I can see if we can move this particular one to 4.
So I wouldn't count on building and zoning for anything right now.
now.
City of Columbus is in trouble.
Virtually. Oh, because
Unless we're done.
Mhm.
I heard about
Yep.
the fair,
Right.
or carnival or something.
Does anybody have any issues with June 16th?
June 16th.
Besides,
No, probably not.
I was going to say you'll be here because you don't leave until what, July?
Can you do June
I
16th?
leave on July 17th.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I need you to confirm one.
Wait,
I'll be gone until August 1st.
I can do the
You can do the 16th?
I'm not expecting it to be long.
It's on the schedule for June 16th.
Okay, you're good?
Yeah, I'm going to have to do a public notice. Or if you want to do it in Facebook or however.
I mean, it'll still be the same process. Everyone will get notified a week before.
Is it also 6:30?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I still need to, since it's a different day than you.
If it works for you, then that's the official day.
That's the official day.
That will be the official day.
I'll do a public notice, but you're going to.
That's for zoning or for
which
the
is
commission?
about 10 days.
Zoning. Okay. Well, then if that works, then we'll do June 16th at 6:30, and then I think that solves all our problems. I don't have anything else to add for this month.
Can we use this building for our CDC meeting?
You say, Bill?
Can we use this building for the CDC meeting on that same day at 4?
Yeah. Yeah. So you want to do 4 o'clock then, and then 6 o'clock zoning.
Yeah.
6:30,
Okay.
but yeah.
Yeah, email me. My
Okay.
computer's probably shut off again. Email me,
That's fine.
and I will put that in the schedule.
Great. Everything's done. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Cool. Do I have a second?
I say.
Great. Adjourn.
I'm gonna talk about finance after you close the zoning piece.